All right, everyone, welcome to the Ravit Show. I'm super excited to be here at Chill Data Summit. As promised, I'll be reporting live from Chill Data Summit. So I'm doing that for our audience, but then I'm very excited as well because I've heard so many great speakers today. But at the same time, there were a lot of announcements made by Upsolver as well. So I'm here with Roy and Shantona, and I'm pretty sure there are no new faces to the data community. First of all, welcome to the Ravit Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. And thanks for coming all the way from India to New York in the middle of winter. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Always. So I'm pretty sure our audience would also love to know a little about, first of all, why Chill Data Summit, and also a little about Upsolver, the announcements that were made. So Roy, you can start. Shantona, you can show us more about in detail as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So a little bit of keying off of the whole iceberg thing.
Yeah.
Right. So Apache Iceberg being an open table format that we're very excited about, strategically committed to it from a product standpoint. We really think it's going to help change the way that people handle data on the data lake and just the way people work with data.
Right.
So we decided to kind of put a conference together, really bring the community together around Apache Iceberg and teach people how to use it, when does it work well, when it doesn't work well. So rather than being a conference about a whole lot of different sessions, this conference is really about bringing users from zero, from knowing nothing about Apache Iceberg and data lakehouses,
Wow.
all the way through the paces. So when they leave this conference, they can go back to their company and say, I'm the Iceberg expert, I know how to do this, let's get started. So that's really the intention behind it. Really hope that that's what's going to happen. And along the same lines, we're excited to kind of make some announcements from Upsolver. So we've made a big commitment to Iceberg. So Upsolver being a high value and reliable data ingestion solution, we're adding Apache Iceberg as a target. So we'll be able to actually ingest data, streaming and batch data into an Iceberg lakehouse. The other announcement that we're making is that we're actually making available a table optimizer. Mm-hmm. So this is something that if you already have an Iceberg lakehouse and you're using Spark or whatever tool to write into it, you can use Upsolver to connect to that lakehouse and then continuously manage and optimize that lakehouse. So saving you on storage cost, improving your query performance, all automatically through Upsolver. And then the last one is we're open sourcing a table analyzer, a piece of code that you can actually run that script on your local machine, connect to your lakehouse, point to a few Iceberg tables, and it'll tell you right away how much storage can you save by optimizing that table, how can we improve the performance of that particular table, and that's all completely free. People can write it, run on it, local machine, object stores, wherever the Iceberg exists, and that's it. So we're hoping people will use it and see that their tables need to be improved and kind of help us out, and we'll help improve their lakes as much as we can.
This is awesome. Shantona, would you like to add something more to what Roy has said?
Yeah, maybe from a practitioner's standpoint a little bit too. So I've been working in data for about a decade, and Iceberg only got on my radar last year, which is to say that it's a recent technology, and it's a big one. It's one that's really revolutionizing how we access data and store data. So I've built data lakes, data warehouses, and now it's time for the lakehouse, and it's so cool that it's an open table format, and all of these open source projects. It's like almost like a revolution against the vendor lock-in that we've gotten used to. So I learned about it last year and sort of dug deep, and what we realized is that there were other data scientists, data engineers like me that were starting to hear about Apache Iceberg, but didn't really know what it was, or even lakehouses more generally. It's a new term. So that's where this started. We wanted to put together an event where we could educate folks on what this technology is, how to use it, whether or not they need it, whether or not it makes sense for individuals to make the migration. And at the end of the day, we hope that, you go back knowing much more about Apache Iceberg and having a sense of how to start that journey if it is the right fit for you.
Okay, that's awesome, and I could see all the energy in there as well, and loved what you all have done, putting the event together in such a huge all-star lineup. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, I need to be there. And that's when I reached out to Roy as well. And, it's so good to see such great announcements coming from Upsolver as well, but you also have an opportunity to have a look at other interviews that we have lined up for the community to have a look at it. But Shantanu, on just the same topic, I'm pretty sure the audience would also love to see, like, have a deeper look into what you all have launched.
Yeah.
And would you like to share it with our audience?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
Take a
Awesome.
sneak peek.
All right.
So we're going to go right into the product here. This is the Upsolver UI. Let me actually start here. This is the first screen that you sort of see when you log into a workspace in Upsolver, and you have choice between ingesting data or optimizing your Iceberg tables. So let's see how a data ingestion pipeline gets put together. So the first step is to select a source and a target. So let me pick Kafka and AWS Glue Data Catalog just as examples. Then I get to configure my source. So the whole thing is like 3 easy steps, basically, pretty based on UI-driven experience. So this is I'm going to use an existing connection. I can decide what topic to ingest, and then it automatically understands or learns what the schema is, and immediately shows me some sample data. I can even look at the exact structure of the JSON in this particular record. Cool. With the source set up, now it's time to set up the target. Again, going to use an existing connection, Upsolver SA Glue Catalog. And here, in step 2, I have a choice between using for the table format. So we have Upsolver managed Iceberg tables or Upsolver managed Hive tables. So because we're showing off this new capability, I'm going to pick Iceberg here. And then I get to choose where I want to write the data to. So I'm going to choose, let's see if there's a demo. Actually, I'll do chill data. And then just give it a name. I'm ingesting the orders table. So, and then the final step 3 in this ingestion wizard is actually configuring the job. So give your job a name. It sort of autofills with a good suggestion. You can change it if you want. When do you want to start pulling in the data from, now or going back to the earliest events? You can choose to prevent duplicate events if you want. You just have to tell it which should be the deduplication key. So in this case, order ID, because it's an orders table, would be a good deduplication key. You don't want to see repeated instances of that deduplication window, etc. And then you can actually configure the schema. So like I said, you already get to see, as soon as you connect to the source, you can see what the different what the schema is of the data. So over here, you can choose which fields to leave out, which fields to include, first of all. And more importantly, perhaps, you can also hash the information that's coming in. So if, for example, email addresses are PII, personal identifiable information, so I might want to hash that out. So I can do that just with a click right here. Similarly, I can set expectations on data. So if you know that there's a field in the data that you don't expect to be null, for example, I can click set expectation and then use the not null expectation and decide whether it's going to warn or drop, and just click set expectation, and that's it. That's configured. So I've hashed a field, set an expectation on a field, I've excluded a couple fields. So I've done all of that schema configuration from within this UI. And with that, as soon as you click next, you get these 11 beautiful lines of SQL. That's your job code. And you can review it here just to make sure that everything makes sense. And then if you click run, then the job just starts running. So that's how easy it is to set up an ingestion job in Upsolver. And let me do a quick overview of once the job is running, what all of that looks like. So this is a job screen where it's showing me from where I monitor all my jobs that are already running. So if we take a look at this one, another job that's ingesting from S3, writing into a managed Iceberg table. So you get all of these high-level summary statistics in the data. This is also where, if there are any issues with the data, it would pop up here. This table is running smoothly, so there are no issues here, but this is where you get that. And then you can go into the graphs, and you can see various metrics here as well. So any data delay, so there was a data delay over here, and then we resolved it, and now there isn't significant delay. You can see how many events we've been handling over time, and you can also see the cluster utilization here. You can actually dig deeper into the cluster metrics also. So over here on the left side, if I go into clusters, then I can look at each cluster and how much they're running, how much utilization we're seeing, how many instances are running, et cetera. So it's a good place to sort of, if you are concerned, as you should be, about the costs and predictability of your jobs running, then this is where you would come in to verify that everything's running smoothly. And then finally, probably the most important and the coolest thing is you can actually look at the data. You have observability into the data as it's coming in, and you can check its quality. So here I'm going into the SA Glue catalog that I was trying to write into earlier, and I'm going to go into the Iceberg database and click this file activity. Actually, let me start here. This is orders coming in from S3 into an Iceberg table, exactly the job that I was about to write earlier that I went to the review stage for. And so this is what this data looks like. It's been running for about 3 weeks, and you can see the event volume here over time. You can see all the different fields right here, and statistics based on for those fields. So density is how full the fields are versus how many nulls there are. Some fields and data are obviously going to have more nulls than others, but if you see one that's supposed to be full or supposed to be a primary key and you're seeing that it's below 100% density, then that should alert you to an issue. You can see top value, you can see the first time the column was seen and the last time the column was seen. You can see how many distinct values there are, and max and min values as well. So this is an extremely useful place to just look at what your data looks like, what the columns are, what their statistics are. You can also click into table statistics, and you can see file count over time, table size over time, and various other statistics as well. I also want to show off, because we did a bunch of announcements around Iceberg capabilities. I also want to show off our compaction capability. So this is a file activity. It's an external Iceberg table that we have optimized. So Upsolver has gone in and optimized this table. It's an Iceberg table. So this is an already optimized, so I'm going to show you the same table before the optimization. So just let's take a look at this one first. You can see the file count's stable, table size is stable. You can see the partitions and average size and all of that. Everything looks really good over here. So if I now go into whenever I'm in the data sets view, I always have this on the right side at the top. I always have a optimize external Iceberg tables option. If I click there, then I can connect to any catalog, Iceberg catalog, and pick a table from there to optimize. So I'm going to select this connection. So again, these are going to be external tables because any table that Upsolver's written is already optimized. So if I go in here and I go into select tables, I can see the full schema here of the tables that are available. Let me go into the Iceberg DB, and the file activity is the table that we were looking at earlier. Let's look at the unoptimized version, file activity unoptimized, and it's going to populate here with some high-level statistics on this one real quickly. And then once we click in here, I can actually see the specific like more detailed statistics as well. So what I want to draw your attention to is over here in the data scan improvement. So here we're seeing that the Upsolver's analyzer engine is looking at this table. This is even before I've clicked the optimization job or anything. It's just looking at the table, and it's telling you that the current scan overhead for this table is 15 seconds and some milliseconds, and the projected scan overhead once the optimization's done is going to be 3 seconds. So that's a 5x optimization and a scan overhead reduction of 80%. Similarly, we're noticing that there's some storage optimization that we can do as well, and you can also look at it at the partition level, by partition, how much we think we're going to be able to optimize and save. So going forward from this stage, if I click review optimization and then say yes optimization, or start optimization, then voila, I will have this table come into in the Upsolver catalog as the optimized version, which I'm not going to start now because I've already shown you what an optimized table looks like. And the last thing that I want to show is because we built this analyzer feature, we wanted to open source this as well. So this is the final announcement that we made that I'm also very excited about. So you don't have to be in the Upsolver UI and using the Upsolver product to look at those Upsolver optimization benefits. You can just use this public Upsolver Iceberg diagnosis GitHub repo and pull it and run it, pip install. It's very simple, and then you get the same sort of analysis of your Iceberg table and see how much optimization opportunity is there. So this is an example output of just running Iceberg diagnosis from the CLI. And you can see it's telling you here, this is the before numbers, after numbers, and the percentage improvements that it's seeing in your Iceberg table that's in your lake that Upsolver hasn't done anything to yet. So I think this is a really cool open source tool that a lot of people will find a lot of value in.
Okay, this is fantastic in terms of what you all have come up with in great announcements that you all have made. Shantanu, thanks for sharing everything in detail. I'm pretty sure the audience would love that. And first of all, I'm pretty sure the audience would love to know where can they try and where can they learn more about it. If you all have documentation already, or it might be in the Rapsol already. Yeah. So where can they do that, Roy?
Yep, so they can go to upsolver.com and sign up there. There's a free trial you can start for 30 days for free. Nice. Play around with the system, ingest data, build tables with Iceberg. You can also optimize existing Iceberg tables for 30 days for free. Documentation is there. You go to docs.upsolver.com and see it all there. The analyzer that Chandana was talking about is open source. You go to the GitHub page. We'll share a link. Download it, install it on your local machine, plug it into your catalog, and then run some analysis. So yeah, get started and have fun.
All right, this was amazing. Thanks for doing this, and love the time at Chill Data Summit. Can't wait for 2025 Chill Data Summit. I'm pretty sure you're already planning with all the success that you all have had. So thanks once again for doing this, and I'll see you soon on the Ravit Show.
Thank you so much for having us.